Hey everyone, Rogue Rabbit here. Are you wanting to get into Standard but don't want to spend $50+ on a playset of Saheeli Raws? I have a fairly competitive and budget deck that I like to call Pia's Egg Revolution. For those who don't know, or for any new players, an egg deck is a deck that revolves around, well, eggs. Eggs are artifacts that usually cost anywhere from 1 to 2 mana, and either draw you a card when entering the battlefield, or draws you a card whenever it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield. They receive the name eggs from a card cycle in Odyssey with eggs. No, not those eggs. These eggs. They fix your mana and draw you a card. Anyways, let's talk about the deck list, starting with the eggs. We'll be starting off with 4 Implement of Ferocity, 1-drop artifact, pay green, sacrifice it, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, but only use as a sorcery. But whenever it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card. These are nice because it can get our creatures an extra point of toughness, and possibly get us out of Yahenni's expertise range. Next we'll be playing 2 Implement of Combustion. What's really important about this one is that you can direct the damage to a planeswalker, meaning Saheeli Ra. It heavily delays that deck, and it turns their 2-card combo into a 3-card combo, and they have to have 7 mana open. They have to have Saheeli Ra out, then they have to play the cat, then they have to have mana open for Disallow to counter the ability, which stalls them for a good 3 to 4 turns, depending on if they can draw Disallow or not. And I throw in 1 Implement of Improvement. It's the white version, you gain 2 life. Kinda nice against aggro matchups. Next we'll be running 4 Terrarions. Comes into play tapped, pay 2, sacrifice it, and add 2 mana of any combination to your mana pool. Really good for mana fixing because of our many color eggs and their activated abilities. Plus it draws you a card. There's also 2 metalspinners puzzleknots. Cost 2, comes into play, draw a card and lose a life. Kinda like a mini Sign in Blood. You pay 2 and 1 black, sacrifice it, you do it again. Which really we don't use the activated ability very often. And our last set of eggs is a playset of Prophetic Prism. Like pretty much the mana fixing all-star in the deck. Cost 2, comes into play, draw a card, pay 1, then it taps for any color. So basically you can turn a red into a blue, pretty much whatever you need. Moving on to the creatures, we'll be running a full playset of Reckless Fireweaver. It's a 1/3 human artificer for 1 and 1 red. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, which is nice because most of our eggs cost 2 or less. And it's an excellent early game blocker. Now we get to the really fun part. A full playset of Foundry Inspectors is a 3/2 construct for 3, and artifact spells he costs cast 1 less to cast. A good majority of our eggs cost 1 mana, so with him out, we'll be throwing him out for free. This ability is essential to the deck, so we'll be playing 3 Herald of Kozilek. A very nice 2/4 body for 1 blue and a red. He has Devoid, he's no color, and colorless spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, which artifacts are colorless, unless they have colored mana in their mana cost. Now that you see where this deck is going, we're going to be needing some sacrifice engines. And we have 4 Ravenous Intruders. It's a 1/2 Gremlin for 1 and 1 red. With sacrifice an artifact, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Very rarely will we be ever swinging with this. It's kinda weird, because he gets really big really fast. And again, this ability is essential to the deck. We'll be running 2 backup of Defiant Salvager. He's a 2/2 for 2 and 1 black, which really isn't all that great, but you can sacrifice an artifact or a creature and put a 1/1 counter on him, but you can only use it as a sorcery. It's a really nice backup just in case you can't draw into your ravenous intruders in time. And plus I've had a few matches where that 1/1 counter is pretty relevant, getting him to a nice big body that's hard to deal with. And when the combo gets out of hand, we have 1 Scrap Trawler. 3/2 construct for 3. Whenever Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand 1 target artifact card in your graveyard with lesser mana cost. Which is insane, because we can sacrifice a Prophetic Prism to get one of our other eggs back that cost 1, play it for free, draw another card, sacrifice it. Then if we have another one out, we can just wash, rinse, repeat. It doesn't go infinite, but It goes pretty dang deep. We've gone through most of the cards already. Some of you may be wondering, where's Pia at? We're not playing Pia, but we're playing a Revolution. It's an enchantment that costs 2 and 1 red. Whenever a non-token artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to your hand unless target opponent has Pia Revolution, deal 3 damage to him or her. It does sound like a lengthy combo, but with all the card draw and synergy, you'd be surprised in how often it happens. This allows you to go pretty much infinite unless your opponent pays 3 life for every time you sacrifice one of your eggs, which is very often, and most likely you'll be drawing into more eggs. If you have one or more of your cost reducers out, things get out of hand real fast. Play an artifact for free, sacrifice it with one of your sec engines, draw a card. Oh hey, I play it for free. You want to pay 3 life, I'm going to draw out my own entire deck. Then if you let me do, I'm eventually going to run into my reckless fireweavers and just coup with that. Next I need to talk about the mana base. This is the budget version of the deck, but with all your mana fixers, land upgrade isn't really all that needed. We'll be running 9 mountain, 3 swamp, 3 island, and 4 revolving wilds, which is plenty enough to do what you need to do. Altogether, this deck will cost you around $8, which is insanely cheap for a budget competitive deck. It's not tier 1, not really tier 2, at least a tier 3, or just in the middle between 2 and 3. It's really fun to play, and I highly recommend it if you have at least $8 just sitting around and you want to build a new deck for Standard. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see more deck techs like this, please let me know. Or if there's a specific deck you want me to go over, just let me know in the comment section, and I'll get on to it. Well, until next video, thanks again. Peace.